Very good morning, cadets. So, today, continue from yesterday's class. That is, we are in the task of solving the chapter based question and answers. We completed up to question number 6. Let us move to question number 7. The question number 7. What is the question number 7? Why did Mughals emphasize their Timurid and not their Mongol descent? We studied that Mughals had two descents. One is from father side, there is lineage. One is from father side and one is from mother side. They don't want to display or they don't want to remember that they belongs to Mongolian invasion, because in India people remembered Mongols, Genghis Khan, as an invader or a looter who attacked India and looted Indian wealth. So Mughals were very careful in continuing their legacy or continuing their lineage. So they were very happy to call themselves as a successors of Timur, Timurland, not with the Mongol descent. Let us check the answer. The the Mughals emphasized their Mongol descent because of Genghis Khan's memory was associated with the massacre of innumerable people. It was also linked with Uzbeks, their Mongol competitors. So why Mughals don't wanted to remember as the success of Genghis Khan? Because Genghis Khan memory name is associated with the massacre. Massacre is nothing but merciless killing of people. We call Jallianwala Bagh massacre because large number of people are killed in an inhuman way. That is what, of course, there is no human way to kill. The massacre means killing a large number of people without having any reason. That is what massacre. On the other hand, they were proud of Timurid ancestry, not at least of all because of their great ancestors. Why they were want to call themselves as successors of Timur? Because Timur captured Delhi in 1398. They also celebrated their genealogy pictorially. That means we saw a picture in which they pictured or painted or the successors of Mughal kingdom. Each ruler getting a picture made of Timur himself, Timur and himself. Let us move to the question number 8. How important was the income from land revenue to the stability of Mughal empire? Cadets, you know very well, success of any kingdom or any nation, for example, depends on the economic stability. Economic stability is nothing but money, monetary power of the country. So, the question, how important was the income from a land revenue to the stability of Mughal empire? Answer. The income from land revenue was a main source of income for the Mughal empire. So Mughals collected income from, that is, land revenue from the farmers, peasantry. The Mughal empire was very large, and therefore for running administration and maintaining law and order, a huge amount of finance is needed, which comes from the revenue. You know, Mughals had a huge land area. So to defend that huge land area, there is need to maintain good number of soldiers, and there's need to maintain a good administration. So that's the reason why, to maintain a good administration, they were in need of sound income. So they collected income in the form of land revenue or the land tax. Third, the land revenue is important for salaries of the soldiers and officials, and welfare works for the common people. So why the land revenue was very important? Because land revenue was very important because with the help of land revenue itself, the salary was distributed as well as for the welfare of the common man. Sixth, land revenue played a crucial role in the economy as well as administration of Mughal Empire. So administration and economy of Mughal Empire, land revenue played a major role. Cadets, hope you are writing all these points. Let us move to the next question. Question number 9. Why was it important for Mughals to recruit Mansabdars from diverse background? Diverse means different background, and not just Turanians and Iranians. We studied that Mughals appointed Mansabdars even Marathas or Rajputs. Why the different people they appointed as Mansabdars? So that is the question expects from you. Let us check the answer. It was important for the Mughals to recruit Mansabdar from diverse background and not just from Turanians and Iranian in order to provide stability to the empire. Means if they appointed Mansabdar from a different backgrounds, definitely if one Mansabdar rebelled against Mughal, at least they can depend on rest of them. That's the reason why they appointed Mansabdars from a different clans. Second, moreover, the problems of common folk would be understood better by the people living there. Means the problems of Marathas can be understood by a Maratha Mansabdar in a better way than from a person belongs to Iran. That is the reason. For understanding problems, local problems, the local person is better. That's the reason why they appointed them as Mansabdars. Third, they came here to rule and maintain the balance between the diversity of the country as well as to respect it. They recruited Mansabdar from diverse background. Barring few kings of Mughal kingdom, all Mughal emperors they respected Indian culture and heritage. That is what Hindustan means, the flora and fauna of this country. That is what explained that. So they respected the flora and fauna culture of this country. That's why to appreciate that they appointed Mansabdars from the different clans. They also don't want the people to rebel against them on the issue of being common Mansabdar or privileged to the Turanians and Iranians. That's the reason why Mughals were very cautious in appointing Mansabdars. So they appointed Mansabdars from the different backgrounds. Let us move to the question number 10. Like the Mughal Empire, India today is also made up of many social and cultural units. Does this pose a challenge to the national integration? The question here, we have different religion, culture, language, literature, food habits, dress habits. So does all these disturb or play as a bottleneck or obstacle for the national integration of the country? That is what the question. What is the answer to this? Today, India follow a culture or a tradition of unity in diversity. This is a very famous quote, that is unity in diversity. People living here are united by the heart and love the diversity of their own country. They consider this as their own motherland. Moreover, they got right to choose their own government and freedom to do what they want without harming anyone, which was not the case of Mughal Empire. It do face some challenges, but it is like a drop in the sea. India is now integrated country with diversity as its ups and never pose a challenge to national integration. Cadets, now write down this. India is now integrated a country with the diversity and its difference, which never pose a challenge to the national integration. Okay. Let us move to 12th question. Is an activity. What activity? Peasants were vital, means important, for the economy of Mughal Empire. Do you think that they are as important today? As the gap in the income between rich and poor in India has changed a great deal from a period of Mughals. So you have to think here what you have to think, because you compare the situation of rich and poor in India. The percentage of rich and poor in India, is it increased when it is compared to the Mughal period? So that is what we are speaking about, and we are also speaking here about the major. So in this activity, what you have to do, cadets, you have to write down the condition of farmer today in India. If the farmer's condition is improved in India, you have to also write, is the gap between rich and poor is decreased or still remains same, or it increased when compared with the 16th, 17th century. Here you can also write the important steps taken by the government of India. You are studying in geography. The steps taken by the government of India, like various poverty driven programs to solve the problem of poverty, like public distribution system, where the ration is distributed to the poor. Various steps taken by the government of India, like green revolution, sustainability in the food production, increase the food production. Latest one, what the greatest dream of the government of India is Atmanirbhar Bharat, or self-dependent India, where the Prime Minister Modi ji asked the Indians to self-dependent. That means we should not depend on any foreign countries for any products or goods and services. Rather, we should produce all those goods and services so that we will remain Atmanirbhar or self-dependent. So definitely you can think and write that is the farmer condition is improved in India compared to the period of 16th and 17th century. So question number 11, you should write answer from purely your thinking or from purely your point of view. Okay. So cadets, with this I completed chapter number 4. of your textbook, that is our past part 2. There is nearly 10 to 11 chapters are there in the history. There are few chapters in civics also, don't worry, because for the class 9th, 10th and higher classes, CBSE is curtailed or cut down its syllabus for up to 30%. So definitely there will be a relief for you also in the aspect of syllabus. So don't worry, whatever chapters taught, please make note of it. Please write down notes, write down points, write down question and answers, and go through those question and answers and notes again and again when you get time in your home. Of course, you have plenty of time in home now, because you are very happy and safe in your home. Please stay inside your home. Please stay home and please stay safe. I'll meet you with one more wonderful lesson in the next video class. Guys, if you have any doubts or any problems, please contact me in my WhatsApp number, which I already gave to you. Once again I'll tell, that is 7411 49116. If you have any problem related to the chapter, please ask without having any hesitation. Please take care of yourself. Wish you a wonderful day. Bye.